It all started with a strange spike in my electricity bill, way higher than usual. At first, I thought it was just a billing error, maybe a glitch in the system. But when I checked my solar monitoring app, something didn't add up. Someone was pulling power from my grid, lots of it. That's when I noticed the HOA lady across the street, the one we all jokingly called Karen, had been parking her Tesla suspiciously close to my garage. Every morning, right around the same time, she'd plug something in, then casually stroll away like nothing was happening. I tried confronting her, but she denied everything with that trademark smile and a wave like I was imagining things. The HOA rules clearly say no unauthorized power usage from neighbors, especially not from someone's private solar setup. But Karen didn't care. She acted like she ran the whole block, and maybe she did, until I decided to take matters into my own hands. I didn't want to get revenge. I just wanted her to stop. But when someone keeps helping themselves to your energy without even asking, sometimes you have to get creative. So I made one small adjustment to my system, something she'd never expect. And when she plugged in the Tesla the next morning, let's just say, things didn't go quite the way she planned. The thing is, I never minded sharing power in an emergency or helping out a neighbor. But this wasn't that. Karen never asked. She never even mentioned it. She just quietly helped herself to my solar grid like it was some kind of free public charger. I spent years investing in my solar panels, monitoring my energy flow, and making sure everything ran efficiently. It wasn't just about saving money, it was about being self-sufficient. But lately, my battery bank was draining faster than usual, even on sunny days. That's when I knew something shady was going on. I started watching more closely. At first, I thought I was being paranoid, but there she was, same time, same routine. Her Tesla Model Y plugged into a cord that mysteriously snaked toward the side of my house. I traced it one day carefully, and there it was, tucked beneath a loose panel on my exterior wall. I couldn't believe it. She had actually rigged a way to tap into my system. Instead of calling the HOA or filing a complaint, I wanted to catch her red-handed, but not in an obvious way. So I made a small tweak to the voltage output using my inverter settings. Not dangerous, just noticeable. The kind of thing that sends a message without saying a word. I just had to wait. That next morning, I sat by the window with my coffee, watching like clockwork. Sure enough, Karen pulled up in her Tesla, glancing around like she was just out for a casual stroll. She walked over to the side of my garage and, just like always, plugged in the charger she thought I didn't know about. But this time, I had already rerouted the inverter settings, nothing harmful, just enough to cause a few hiccups in her charging process. A couple of flickers, a few warning beeps from the Tesla, maybe a reset or two. Nothing that could be traced back to me. I wanted her to feel the consequence without any confrontation, yet. As soon as she walked away, I checked my system. The spike came again, but this time the power feedback loop kicked in exactly as I planned. It wasn't about damaging her car or doing anything unsafe. It was about making her realize someone was watching. But instead of backing off, she doubled down. That same evening, I caught her in a hushed conversation with one of the HOA board members, Jeff, the one who always backs her up at meetings. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just her acting alone. There might have been others in on it, or at least turning a blind eye. I started digging deeper, checking the logs on my inverter, comparing timestamps, tracking usage patterns. More than once, it seemed like my system was being tapped even when she wasn't around. Was she letting someone else use the connection? Or worse, did someone in the HOA tamper with it during one of their inspections? And then came the letter. A formal notice from the HOA about unauthorized equipment on exterior property surfaces, with my address singled out. The irony was hard to miss. The same people who ignored Karen's behavior were now trying to paint *me* as the one breaking the rules. That's when the real tension started. It wasn't just about stolen solar power anymore. It was about control, reputation, and a whole neighborhood caught in a silent power struggle. But I wasn't ready to play defense. Not yet. After that HOA letter showed up, things got weird fast. Karen stopped pretending. No more fake smiles, no more pretending she didn't know what was going on. She'd stare me down every time I stepped outside, like I was the problem now. A couple days later, I noticed new security cameras pointing straight at my driveway, hers freshly installed. She was clearly trying to flip the script, maybe make it look like harassing. That's when I realized this wasn't just about electricity anymore. Karen was trying to push me out, or at least put enough pressure on me that I backed down. I overheard her one night while I was out walking my dog. She was on the phone, laughing, something about letting him fry his little batteries, and he'll get what's coming. I didn't know who she was talking to, but it lit a fire in me. I wasn't about to let her bully me off my own property. So I went back to my setup and started working on a plan. I didn't want to fight. I wanted proof, something undeniable. I upgraded my monitoring system, added a hidden smart breaker, and reprogrammed the inverter to auto-log every unauthorized connection in real time. No more guessing, no more paranoia. If she plugged in again, I'd have the exact timestamp, the power draw, even the voltage change. Then one night, just past midnight, it happened. A sudden spike, biggest one yet. Not just a casual charge, but a full-blown fast charge session. It pulled nearly everything from my battery bank. My security lights dimmed, the backup relay kicked in, and I could hear the inverter humming like it was under stress. I grabbed my phone and pulled up the camera feed. There she was, Karen out there in her robe, sneaking the Tesla cable into that hidden socket like she'd done it 100 times. Only this time I was ready. The voltage adjustments I'd set were kicking in. My system wasn't just logging it, it was reacting. She had no idea. Her Tesla started throwing warning lights. The charger flickered. She looked confused, then panicked. I watched her pull the plug and stumble back, looking around like she thought someone was watching. And she was right. I was. From the safety of my living room, every second recorded. But the real twist, that spike didn't just hit my logs. It triggered something else, something even she couldn't ignore. The moment that voltage spike hit, I thought I'd finally turned the tables. But what I didn't expect was what came next. Less than 12 hours after Karen's late-night charging stunt, I got another letter, this time not from the HOA. It was from the city's utility company. They claimed they'd received a complaint about unsafe energy practices linked to my address. According to them, someone reported irregular voltage feedback on the grid, suggesting my solar system was interfering with nearby infrastructure. That wasn't just a fine, it could get my entire system shut down. Permanently. It didn't take much to figure out who made the call. Now Karen wasn't just stealing power, she was trying to get me labeled as a threat to public safety. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just personal. She was trying to turn the system against me. She knew how much I depended on solar, how hard I'd worked to build a self-sustaining setup, and now she was weaponizing the very thing I used to protect my home. I felt boxed in. If I pushed back too hard, I could lose everything. If I stayed quiet, she'd keep draining my system like it was hers. And then something even more bizarre happened. My solar app suddenly logged a firmware access request from an external IP. Someone had tried to remotely access my inverter. It failed, but the fact that someone even tried told me I was dealing with more than just a nosy neighbor. Either she had help, or she was far more tech-savvy than I ever realized. That's when the paranoia kicked in. I started wondering, was she really acting alone? Or was someone on the HOA board helping her cover her tracks? Maybe someone with access to inspection records, or worse, utility documentation. Because now, it wasn't just about power theft. It was a full-on smear campaign, and I still hadn't shown my cards. But they were coming, and when they did, no one on this street was going to see it coming. I knew I was outmatched if I played this the usual way. Karen had influence, connections in the HOA, and now she was clearly trying to make me look like the bad guy. But what she didn't count on was how detailed my system logs really were. I compiled everything: power usage patterns, timestamps, video footage, even the IP address that tried to access my inverter. I packaged it all into one clean report and sent it straight to the utility company's investigations team with a simple message: here's the real source of the irregular power draw. Within 48 hours, I got a call, not a letter, not a warning, an call from an energy compliance officer. They'd reviewed the data and confirmed that my system wasn't at fault. In fact, they were stunned I hadn't reported the tampering earlier. The best part: the unauthorized access attempt triggered an auto flag on their system, which matched a known HOA contractor's login ID, someone who had previously done routine inspections in our neighborhood. That was the link. Someone from the HOA had tried to manipulate my setup from the inside. The officer told me they were escalating the issue to the city's legal team. Meanwhile, I forwarded the same report to the HOA board, with a friendly reminder that filing false reports to the city could carry legal consequences. That same afternoon, Karen's Tesla was mysteriously gone from her driveway. 2 days later, her security cameras were removed. No apology, no explanation, just silence. But the final twist? A few weeks later, a new neighbor moved in next door. Super friendly guy, introduced himself as an electrician. We got to talking, and out of nowhere, he mentioned he used to do contract work for the HOA. I casually asked if he ever worked on my house. He froze for a split second, then said, "I was told not to touch your setup, something about it being already handled." That's when I knew Karen might have backed off, but someone else had been pulling strings the whole time. And they weren't done yet. After that conversation with the new neighbor, everything finally made sense. Karen wasn't just acting entitled, she had backup from someone inside the HOA, someone who had access to my system during routine inspections. They thought I'd never notice, that I'd just keep paying the price in silence. But in the end, the data didn't lie, and neither did the timing. Once I sent those logs to the right people, it all started to unravel. The city dropped the complaint against me, and the utility company even offered to help upgrade my solar security at no cost, just to make sure something like this wouldn't happen again. The HOA, they went quiet. No more letters, no more threats. Karen eventually moved out. Rumor was she had legal trouble over some other violations. I didn't dig into it. I was just glad the drama was over. Looking back, the biggest lesson wasn't about solar energy or voltage settings. It was about standing your ground when you know you're in the right. It's easy to let people take advantage when you try to avoid conflict, but sometimes the only way to protect your space is to shine a little light on the truth, especially when they try to steal your power, both literally and figuratively.